What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode of the Donut Bag. It's the best of 2018. This episode will feature clips and highlights from the year. So, the first episode of the Donut Bag was on July 22nd of this year. And the reason why it started was because I thought I had a lot to say. And I kept bugging people to be on their podcast, but that was just too few and far between. That wasn't enough. So I kept putting it off and trying to find a co-host and trying to figure out how to do that. But just I'm a big procrastinator, so it just didn't look like it was going to happen. And NFL training camps were starting, so it was basically now or never. And so the first episode was July 22nd. And it featured Dan Kingerski from Pittsburgh Hockey Now. He's kind of my Bill Murray. Hope you get that reference. And he revealed the actual reason he decided to come on.
Good. Thank you so much for doing this. When I said that I was thinking about doing a podcast and see if anybody wants to be on, you jumped at it. So that's really cool.
Well, I wanted to find out if your actual last name was Bag of Donuts.
Okay, now we're going to fast forward a little bit. So we went through training camp, preseason, and Le'Veon Bell still didn't show up for the Steelers. And we expected this because he couldn't work out a long-term contract with the Steelers in July. And we knew he wouldn't show up for training camp, but we did assume that he'd show up just in time to start the regular season. And that didn't happen. And when that didn't happen, the city of Pittsburgh lost their damn minds. I was so fired up, I did a special podcast just about that. Here's a clip from that. Another quote from his agent. Again, if memory serves me, I said Le'Veon had every intention to make this the best season of his career. That has not changed. That's his intention, to make this the best statistical season of his career. Yeah, you miss half the year, you're going to have great stats, you jackass. And then a picture emerged of him looking overweight on a jet ski, and we talked about him some more. How'd you like Le'Veon Bell? It's like, oh, you mean the fat guy on the jet ski that's rapping right now? Yeah, I want him. He looks really dedicated to football. September 26th was our 14th episode and our preview of the Steelers-Ravens game, but also was the first time that Mark and Coach and I got together to do a weekly pick segment and talk about the NFL. And, of course, we talked about Le'Veon Bell. By the way, Le'Veon, if you're listening, and you probably are, you're welcome anytime on this podcast. Well, it'll be a little less time for Mark and Chris, but we'll figure it out.
Shout out James Harrison. I mean, obviously he was listening on Monday because he...
Exactly. Yeah, James Harrison, hey, big fan. Sorry what I said about 30 seconds ago. Then it was revealed in October that earlier in the year, police were called on Antonio Brown because he was throwing furniture out of his condo in Miami. Not the last time we'll be hearing about Antonio Brown, unfortunately, but it led to this interesting conversation. Oh man!
I mean, that come on, that's what's going to happen. Big Steve's going to come out and say that he chucked the stroller over the balcony.
It's like a game of Clue. It was the Instagram guy with the stroller on the 14th floor. By mid-October, I finally got to talk baseball with somebody on the podcast. Anytime I would schedule a baseball person, they would back out or something would happen and we couldn't talk. So I got to talk to Anthony DiNardo from North Shore 9 podcast and his obsession with Juan Soto. One more question. How many feet away from Juan Soto do you have to be? What is the protection from order state?
You know what? I just ripped up the piece of paper. I didn't even look at it. I don't care. Restrictions can't hold me back. Laws can't hold me back. The restraining orders mean nothing to me. Juan Soto is the GOAT.
Just people, find someone out there that loves you as much as DiNardo loves Juan Soto. It's a beautiful thing.
Facts.
Also in mid-October, hockey season started, and I started talking to some great hockey people. One of them was Leah Blasco from the Pens blog, and she shared her thoughts on
favorite punching bag, Jack Johnson.
Same thing with Oli Mata. He can't skate great, but he tries. Bless his soul. I love him. I want him to do better.
He's not doing so great. Jack Johnson had a bad game. Oof.
Well, Jack Johnson is bad. Jack Johnson is bad.
Also in mid-October, I shared my thoughts on one of the biggest topics in the world today, and that's the debate on pineapple on pizza. What are your thoughts on pineapple on pizza?
The only times I've had pineapple on pizza have been just like regular, like throw it in the oven kind of pizzas. Doughs haven't been very good, so I'm not the biggest fan of pineapple on pizza. But okay. I do see people with like different taste buds, and it does offer that little that complement to the sweet pizza taste.
No, they're wrong. They're wrong. Pineapple on pizza is stupid. That's it. I mean,
that's official. If you're putting a gun to my head and you're making me choose, I'll definitely have to go with no pineapple. But
this was almost the shortest podcast segment in history if you answered the wrong way, just so you know. So you answered correctly. By the end of October, the Le'Veon Bell discussion got pretty intense, and, well, we decided to be generous.
Hey, you know what? We're going to go ahead and just give you more money right now.
You've been such a great guy, and you've negotiated in good faith, and you've been so truthful and forthcoming with us. Let's give you more money.
Forget about the failed drug test and the suspensions and you looking like a whale on a jet ski. We don't care. Here's all the money. Take it all.
It got so bad I almost got into a rap battle with Le'Veon Bell.
Listen, just recording mixtapes, bro.
Yeah. He'll get that money back in rapping.
Yeah.
How many mixtapes do you have to sell to recoup $14 million?
That's a lot. Since no one buys them anymore, that's a lot.
You can't go to Camelot or NRM?
Yeah, there's no Camelot. Is there even any, other than Best Buy, is there anywhere you can buy?
Here's his rap. My name is Le'Veon. I'm here to say I screwed up the situation in every single possible way.
Very good. First line.
I think my rap is better than
you may get a feature. You may get a feature with Lev. Listen, what's your rap?
Le'Veon Bell featuring Joey Bag of Donuts.
What is your rap?
JBD. That's your name. There you go.
J-Bod.
JBD.
Notorious JBD. There was a report that he showed up in Pittsburgh and played basketball at a LA Fitness. So naturally, we formed a search party. Okay. There's an LA Fitness near me in North Hills. I don't know where you are, Mark, but we need to split it up. You're in the South Hills?
I'm between two of them. I live in Carnegie, so it's like I can go to the Robinson one or the one.
Okay.
They're both. So I got
listen, I will cover all sheets and get goes.
Okay.
From city limits all the way out to the north of Hampton.
Okay. Right. So we have our assignments.
Ready, break.
In mid-November, the movie Bohemian Rhapsody came out, which prompted us to have a discussion of the greatest Queen songs, and it also prompted this discussion.
We Are the Champions from News of the World, which is really one of their better albums. We Are the Champions. Just, I don't know, it's the cockiest song I've ever heard, and I really love it.
Oh my God! No time for losers, because we are the champions of the world. Like, that is the greatest line ever. And it's like, oh, let me check my schedule. Yeah, no time for losers. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're the champions of the world. I don't got any time for you. Sorry. Also in November, I talked to who is possibly the biggest guest ever on the Donabag podcast, Ralph Sindrich, who was a sports agent, former NFL player. Asked him about the Le'Veon Bell situation.
Tell me what you're gaining. I mean, right now, he can't go in and get a higher contract or anything else, and he's missed all this money, which is extremely hard to make up. It's this just wasn't well thought out by him, in my opinion. Who knows what his problems are and whether this guy will come in ready to play. So this puts a dent in his career, in my opinion, simply because other teams are going to look at this and say, what kind of character are we bringing into our organization, especially you're a winning organization. If you're losers, if you're if you're the Miami Dolphins or even the Cleveland Browns or whatever, bring them on. Anything can help. But if you're going for a championship or whatever, you need players who are going to work with the team for that goal and be a teammate. This guy's not a teammate.
We're even educational here on the podcast, like when I taught Geddes a vocabulary word.
I'll come back down there.
Before you come, we need to teach you some Pittsburghese. We need to, because you don't even know what jagoff means, right?
No, I do not know what jagoff means at all. Like jagoff.
We need to get you. Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. Donardo's a jagoff. That's how you know that's your definition right there.
Really? So like an asshole?
Yes.
Also in November, we learned Mark is a little bit bloodthirsty.
Texans beat the Redskins 23-21. I think this was another last-second field goal game, but poor Alex Smith got Joe Theismann.
Oh, did he? Oh, I heard. I didn't.
He broke his leg, and it looked.
Tibia and his fibia.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
He broke his tibia, his fibia, his libia, his bibia, his every bone in the leg got smashed. It was one of those ugly, like, please don't watch videos.
Oh wow! Now I have to go find it. Now I gotta see it. I'm morbidly interested in it.
I talked to Dan Kongursky from Pittsburgh Hockey Now again, and we talked about that first episode, and this time he revealed the real reason why he volunteered to come on.
Dan, thank you so much. I could talk to you for hours, and I always appreciate that you volunteered to be my very first guest on the podcast, and I always appreciate that. Because I didn't think anybody actually wanted to talk to me, so you stepping up really gave me a big boost of confidence.
Well, in fairness, I was drunk at the time, so we're good.
We started movie reviews on the podcast, and we reviewed Creed 2, and we helped the studios out by plotting Creed 3. Yeah, kudos to them for that.
Now in Creed 3, he's just got to fight Mr. T, right? And then he's done.
Oh my God. When is Mr. T showing up? Come on.
I wanted the ghost of Carl Weathers in this one, too. I know they keep showing his face. Come on. I'll even take Chubbs Peterson. Let's get him in this thing. Come on. Creed 3, help us out.
with the wooden hand.
I'll take it. Come on. You know you'd love that. Awesome.
At the end of November, the Steelers played the Chargers, and apparently there was a lot of fan violence during that game, so that became a recurring theme, especially when a pregnant lady got choked. So this is what we talked about.
One Direction, they rocked, let me tell you.
The Jonas Brothers sold out?
Were there any fights? Did you witness any fights at that time?
There were no fights.
Okay.
No fights in One Direction?
There were no Taylor Swift fans that were brawling with One Direction fans.
I know it can get crazy at those.
Well, I mean, I didn't. Luckily I wore my One Direction gear, so I was, I assimilated.
They knew you were down.
But yeah. If I had like my Jonas Brothers stuff on, then man, I would have needed a bodyguard or something.
Did you have to tell people you were with to hide their Jonas Brothers gear, just in case?
Just in case, yeah.
It's like going to Cleveland. It's like a Steelers fan going to Cleveland. Put the coat over the Steelers jersey.
Yeah.
I just hope you took it easy in the mosh pits.
That Chargers game was brutal. So brutal, we made babies cry.
I made a child cry when Connor had one of his ball throw behind him. I yelled at the TV and she looked at me and cried. I fear the Patriots game might be similar, where people are scared of my reaction.
When my daughter was a baby, it was a playoff game, and something happened. She just walked into the room, and something bad happened, and I screamed, and she like had the worst look on her face, like she was so scared, and she started crying. It's like, oh, sorry. Get used to it. This is how Daddy is on Steeler games.
At the beginning of December, I found out that we've been accepted to be part of iHeartRadio. So that was huge. And it was time to talk about merchandising.
Listen, we're on iHeartRadio now, bro.
We're on iHeartRadio.
That's right. I saw that. That's a big deal.
Look out, Howard Stern.
Yeah, we're gonna be famous.
Now, does that mean we can be more racy or